Well, a very good evening to all of you from here in the BIS music room. A very happy Christmas and very happy Boxing Day. There are some places in the world where today is still Christmas. Some places celebrate Christmas on 2 days. Look at you. Here in the UK and in America at least, we are celebrating what's known as Boxing Day. I never quite worked out what Boxing Day actually means. Basically is when we eat the leftovers of yesterday's feasts with friends and family, which is what we've been doing today actually. We've been, ooh, my tinsel seems to be on the microphone. I hope the microphone isn't doing funny things tonight. We were down at my sister's today. We've had a great time. Nice to see some family. See my niece and nephew as well, and Hugo was able to see them and play with all of their toys. We had a great time. So please do let me know in the chat what on earth you've been up to, whether you've been seeing family or whether you've had a quiet one at home. Let us all know. I've got my BIS Requests Form here. So basically today is all down to you. You request everything I play, as usual. The fanfare at the beginning was actually a fanfare by Paul Foy. A lot of you will know of Paul. He's a composer and an organist over in Germany and has featured a number of times on the Call of the Composers and also the Joint Junior Organ Recital. A very talented composer. So that was his fanfare. And of course, going into, well, you know what it was, don't you? Of course it was "O Come All Ye Faithful." Next hymn, I'm just going to go basically at the top and then see how far we get down the list. The next hymn is in the 1982 and it is a request from the Limo Guy channel. Do you have a limo? Maybe that's why you called a limo. Maybe it's ironic you don't have a limo and you've got a Mini instead. So we're going to go to number 91 in here. Number 91, and it is, let me just get my title. Let me put that up there. Oh no, the cat's just fallen off the organ. It is "Break Forth, O Beauteous Heavenly Light, and Usher in the Morning" at number 91. Here it is. This has been harmonised by J.S. Bach. I think we might have had this actually on Christmas Eve. I think we did. I think it was requested by Ship's Bells on Christmas Eve. However, it's been now requested by John McVeigh. I don't know whether that's John McVeigh or otherwise known as the Limo Guy. The Limo Guy channel for today. And the tune is called, what is the tune called? Ermuntre dich. And as I say, it's been harmonised by J.S. Bach. So who have we got in the chat with us today? Paul, we've got Paul in. You'll have to rewind. You'll have to rewind. We opened with your ditty and I think it went down very well indeed. I think people liked it. Larry, what's going on? What's going on, Larry? Are you having issues with your internet connection? Let us know what's going on. Let us know what's going on in the world wherever you are. I like to read the chat. I like to feel at one with you. Actually, interestingly, we've only got one verse here. Oh, come on, we'll have two verses, even though there's one verse printed. We'll have two verses. The reason for the great big crescendo, some of you may have been wondering, why on earth is this organist going a bit mad? These are why. This is why. This child, this little helpless boy, shall be our confidence and joy. Yeah, that's fair enough. The power of Satan breaking, our peace eternal making. So it just requires a lot of word painting. You got Satan, that's bad enough. Then you've got the word breaking. So Satan is breaking. Oh my gosh, that's two really terrible things right there. And then, however, our peace eternal making. So Jesus, help us little boy, as he is in here. However, he will become our eternal peace. And he will destroy Satan and all of that nonsense. Boo to Satan, I say. Anyway, let's go on to Rory. Oh, Rory, you've emailed me a high quality scan. We'll have to get back to that in a short while. Are you in the chat with us, Rory? I will play it if you are with us. I'll just stick to what's accessible right now. Valerie Fargo has asked for a stable lamp is lighted. Well, let's have a look, see if we can find that. It's in, actually, luckily it's in the same hymn book, and it's only a few hymns forward. Okay, a stable lamp is lighted, whose glow shall wake the sky. The stars shall bend their voices, and every stone shall cry. And every stone shall cry, and straw like gold shall shine. A barn shall, what was that? A barn shall harbour heaven. A stall become a shrine. Does it go over the page? It does go over the page, that's annoying. Oh, it's just a little outro. That's fine. So this one looks like fairly quiet. Let's get a little jolly, tinkly sound, I think, for this one. Where should we go? Let's have some of these lovely choir stops. Something like that, I think. How about that? So here we go. This is called A Stable Lamp is Lighted, Whose Glow Shall Wake the Sky, and it's been requested by Valerie Fargo. So Valerie, a very happy Christmas to you. Here is your request. Got a few angles today. We've got shoulder, we've got the top one. So should we go for the top one now? Here we go. How silently, how silently. Yes, that would have been Silent Night. Here ends the epistle spoken, mimed by your host tonight, Richard McVeigh. The problem is when I have Caroline upstairs and not around, like producing as it were, anything could happen and I have no idea. The problem is I haven't yet worked out a system because the camera, sorry, the monitor where I'm the computer is, the streaming computer is all the way over there and the organ's so large I can't see it. So I should have looked down because actually there's quite a few people who said, it's so silent, Ben Wallace, this is hilarious. Oh yes, well it's actually Philip, I should give you a remote. I should entrust you with a remote so you can just press the button. Anyway, here we are. I'm back, you can hear me, blah, blah, blah. So what on earth was I saying? I'll just do a very, very quick recap. Those people who are watching after the event are thinking, what on earth is this? Nala, don't knock over the flowers. I've got the cat in here and I've got a vase of flowers on a table out of camera and she is very, very closely knocking them over, which wouldn't be funny because it's full of water. I was saying, thank you to Valerie. I hope that was okay for the previous hymn. It was by David Hurd, I think. So I said thank you. I said polite things about Valerie, and I then went on to Norm Barncutt, and I then apologised for not necessarily getting the surname pronunciation right. Norm Barncutt, and it is. I can save us all again now. 'Twas in the moon of winter time when all the birds had fled, that God the Lord of all the earth sent angel choirs instead. Before their light the stars grew dim, and wandering hunters heard the hymn, Jesus your King is born, Jesus is born, in excelsis gloria. Now the first time I read that through, that wasn't entirely slick, was it? But the first time was even worse. Anyway, enough waffle, because you've had silence waffle and you've had real waffle. So I'm going to waffle myself to sleep whilst playing this hymn. It is "'Twas in the moon of winter time." I've said that about 6 times now. Even I heard it twice. Here we go. Make sure we go back to the correct camera this time. Actually, it has a big green button on my Stream Deck, so I've got no excuse. I've actually highlighted it in green, so it should be really, really clear that the correct camera is on. No excuses from me. There we go, Norm. Are you in? You normally are in. Let me just have a quick scroll. I can't see Norm's name. Hopefully Norm will watch back and enjoy that. It was vaguely familiar, actually. I just don't know whether it was there's a metered version of that I know, or it felt very familiar. It looks like it's a French folk melody, actually, from the 16th century. That's cool. It sounded a bit French in the way it's harmonic language and the way the way the tune sort of progresses. There we go. Let's go into a request from Katie. Katie has asked for a rather rousing, it can be played rousingly, or it could be played normally, I suppose. We could give it to the McVeigh treatment, or we could be sensible. How about we start sensible, and then just go a little bit off the rails towards the end. Katie has asked for Joy to the World. The Lord is come, let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Okay, so I will start it a little bit sensibly, and then we'll just see what happens. There are only 3 verses, so we need to decide fairly soon what happens. Let's just roll with it, and see you on the other side if we survive. That was fairly sensible, if I'm honest. Just these solo reeds, the chamades, which are 4 of which are up here. You can probably see them on the camera, and then the tuba moralis, which is this stop here. So whenever you see this one come out on the shoulder cam or the top cam, that's the tuba moralibus. As I've said before on these streams, tubas in Handwerk at least do not come any better than that one. I've played quite a few Handwerk tubas. That is my favourite one. This one. Fact. You heard it here first. That is Richard McVeigh's favourite tuba. Thanks, Katie. Good request. Peter Bray, otherwise known as Digital Worship Band, has asked for, I don't have that hymn book in my reach. Darn. I might have to get up. Let me see if I can find it in the organ. All my hymn books are now actually stored inside the organ. Because I asked Renatus, people who are building it, to build me a cupboard. And rather annoyingly, that hymn book isn't in there. It might be in a different hymn book actually. Let me have a look in the Carols for Choirs. He's asked for Angels from the Realms of Glory. It should be. I think it's in here. Number 300. Let's have a look, see if I can find it. See if it's the same version. I assume it's the same version. There aren't many versions of this, are there? This is the Shepherds in the field abiding, tell us when the seraph bright greeted you with wondrous tiding, what ye saw and heard that night. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. That's the tune. Those are the words, and otherwise you can sing the words as Peter Bray has asked for. Angels from the realms of glory, wing your flight over all the earth. Ye who sang creation's story, now proclaim Messiah's birth. Gloria. Actually, there's more "ors" there, but I thought you would find it a bit tedious if I did all of the notes to an "or." Come on then, Peter, let's have a go at this one. And then we'll have an organ piece. I think I know what I'll play. The previous Carol, Joy to the World, just gave me a little bit of an idea. It's on the iPad, which is quite handy. So let me go to the shoulder camera. Let's see if the tuba mirabilis comes out again in this one. Interestingly, the alto part, towards the very, very end of the phrase, when it goes, in this arrangement, the altos go above the what do you call them, the sopranos. So let's use a let's use a vox humana to demonstrate the those altos. Those altos love a moment, don't they? Any moment they have in music, they jump at the chance. I mean, let's be honest, the altos just sing basically the dominant anyway. You know, one note normally, isn't it? Maybe going up to the sixth if they're lucky. So Peter, I hope that was all right for you. Question for you, not a quiz question, just a question, your own preference. Simple question, really. Maybe it's not a simple answer though. What is your favourite Christmas carol? Let's go with favourite first. Then we might have another question later. So, your favourite Christmas carol. Whilst I'm going to have a quick look at this andantino, just to make sure it's not impossibly hard, because some of these arrangements are quite tricky and might require a little bit of looking at. Doesn't look too bad, I suppose. Andantino, otherwise known as Anne, sometimes, has asked for an arrangement here of Past 3 o'clock, which is quite a common and popular tune here in England. Past 3 o'clock on a cold and winter's morning, past 3 o'clock, good marrow masters all. I think those are the right words. And then it goes off in various verses. That's the refrain. She's asked for this arrangement here by Noel Rawsthorne. And I wonder, Anne, are you actually, yes you are there. Cool, you are there. So people are actually requesting in the chat. If you are making requests, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave it in the BIS Requests Form. The link to the BIS Request Form is actually in the description of this video. So if you're watching on YouTube, on the computer, and you've got a small window, and you can see, you know, the description underneath it. Click See More. See More. That's not see more. And you'll see a description there with a bit of text, and you'll see a link to the BIS Requests Form. I've seen quite a few actually come flying in as I've been playing. That's actually just the best way for me to make sure that I've played your request for today. It's how Andantino has requested this little ditty, and it's called Past 3 o'clock. Let's see how we get on. Let's see how Mr. McVeigh's sight reading is tonight. perfectly playable, perfectly sight readable. Thank you very much, Anne, for not requesting anything too difficult. That's actually rather fun. I hadn't played that one before. This is actually a really jolly, useful book to have. It's called The Holly and the Ivy, 48 improvisations on Christmas carols, all by Noel Rawsthorne. Last Christmas Day in 2020, I released a Christmas organ album featuring mostly music from this book. It's the sort of music that you would play, before a service or during the communion, or perhaps during the piece in a service. Some of them are really quite quiet and sort of perfect for background music, all based on very well-known tunes. The Sansei Carol. Now the holly bears a berry as white as the snow. I was going to say as black as the snow, but that doesn't seem to work. It's white as the snow. First Noel, Lord Jesus hath a garden. Doesn't quite go like that. Sussex Carol, you get the gist. All really well-known tunes, well worth having. It's published by Kevin Mayhew. Okay, so where are we going to next? We've gone from Andantino. We're going to go into a request from Ian Hammond. I think I've seen Ian Hammond in the chat, actually. So Ian, if you are with us, you're going to have your request right now. It's the Evangelical Lutheran Worship Hymn Book. Let me just get it. Here it is, number 284. Oh, hang on, it's not the right. Oh no, I'm being a silly sausage. It is no, hang on. Haven't we just had this? Haven't we had this French one? We've had this one. Ian, I'm doubling up. This was actually requested by Norm earlier. We can't have the two hymns the same. So when I played this one earlier, 'twas in the moon of wintertime when all the birds had fled. This was the hymn that I played after the disastrous silence for about 2 minutes. So if you want to hear this hymn, I played it earlier on. We'll put timestamps on today's video after we've finished the live broadcast. Oh, by the way, I can't wait to see what your favourite hymn or your favourite carols are. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. So who said? So we've had Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Perfect. That's one of my favourites. Oh, Ben Wallace, John Rutter's What Sweeter Music. That's really, really gorgeous, isn't it? Written for King's College, Cambridge, I think. Or it might have been Trinity, Cambridge. No, I think it was King's, Cambridge. Do you hear what I hear? Yes. Now, where do I find that? I think that's rather pretty, isn't it? In the Bleak Midwinter by Dark. I think Dark has the age, doesn't it? It's very, very similar to the Holst. That's Holst. And then the Dark. Well, actually, should we play the Dark? We'll see. We'll see if we can play the Dark later. Sorry. Very similar tunes. Silent Night from Clive Wright. Yeah, beautiful. We could have that if you want to request it. Joy to the World. God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. Another one for In the Bleak by Dark. First Noel. Infant Holy, Infant Lowly, of the Father's Heart Begotten. O Holy Night by Adolphe Adam. A Great and Mighty Wad. I assume that's meant to be a great and mighty wonder. Come, Emmanuel, Hark the Herald, Once and Royal, Sussex Carol, Hark the Herald, O Holy Night again, O Come All Ye Faithful. So actually, and my phone's just crashed. Brilliant. There we go. And quite a lot more down at the bottom there. So now I'm going to just change the question a little bit. Which carol would you not be sad about never hearing again? So, perhaps you've just heard it just one too many times and you think, do you know what, I want to put that one to bed now, just for a year. Which carol is that one for you? I really wish I had the complete Anglican to hand, Fiona, because that's the second hymn. This is the truth sent from above. I really wished I had it, but I haven't got it to hand. I'll go and get it in a bit. Please remind me. I'll go and get that hymn book in a bit. Hopefully Caroline will fetch it for me when she's not so busy with our little boy. Oh yes, Personant Odie. Well, that's a good one, isn't it? That's a very good one. We can definitely have that. Where are we going? P. Personant Odie, 266. Yes. So the words are actually in Latin here. Personent odie voces pu ule laudantes iucunde qui nobis est natus sumo deo datus et de vir et de vir et de vir et de virgineo ventre proce natus. Unfortunately, the English word, 268. Let's just have a look at the English words to that. Sing aloud on this day, children all raise the lay. Cheerfully, we and they hasten to adore thee. Sent from highest glory, for us born, for us born, for us born, on this morn of the Virgin Mary. This is actually a heck of a lot of fun, particularly with the descending scale in between each verse. So let's hope my feet can get all those notes in the right order at the right time. Top camera, I think, to begin with. Don't know about you, but that E flat in here on that 32 foot, along with the 32 foot flue as well, sounds really rather exciting. So that was Personant Audii, and it was requested. Let me remind myself who it was requested by. Where is it? By Larry Latham. I've seen you in the chat. There you are. Larry, you are with us, so that one was for you. Right, where shall we go next? Ian Garden, I think I've seen your name. You've asked for one of the Noels by Dakin. Now, you've put page numbers, but I don't have, almost certainly don't have the same edition as you, I'm afraid. I only have a couple which are in here. I know they're available online, but I don't have them. Which I did one in the, what do you call it, yesterday, the organ album yesterday. So, was it that one? That's my favourite, actually. Let's go on to the next one just whilst we're sorting that one out. Derek has emailed me a high quality scan of Father Let Me Dedicate. Well, let's see how high quality this one actually is. Derek Horn, there he is. Perfect, look at this. Don't you just love it when something comes together and things just work? Derek, that is very high quality. It's a funny colour. I'd rather it be white in the background rather than a musty sort of old yellowy brown. But actually it looks very authentic. It could be an old hymn book, so I rather like it. Father, let me dedicate all this year to thee, in whatever worldly state thou wilt have me be. Not from sorrow, pain or care, freedom do I claim. This alone shall be my prayer. Glorify thy name. Ah, nice words, very nice words. I think the tune is called Dedication, and I think the music is by G.A. McFarren. I don't know what G and A stands for. Let's see how we get on with this. I don't think I know it. So, well, I'll tell you now, I don't know this. Well, I don't think I know it. So we'll start fairly quietly. We'll have the quiet trumpet on the choir division rather than the big tuba. We'll give the trumpet a little bit of a spin. See what that's like. And we'll go from there. Nala's just scratching everything in here. Oh, cats. Here we go. That's actually a really, really terrific hymn. Thank you very much for requesting that. I really enjoyed, you may have noticed, I really enjoyed playing that one. I love these old hymns which are just so, I just love these old hymns with the really, just, do you know what I mean when I say just really solid and just really mature harmony? You know, it doesn't really, they're not pretentious, they don't really stray further away from the dominant. So if it's in D major, there's a G sharp which takes it to the dominant, which is A major. It doesn't go anywhere, it goes to F sharp minor for a beautiful cadence towards the end. But actually, that's a really, really nice tune. It's a really strong. I'm just trying to struggling to find the right word. Majestic, I suppose, and bold. Bold is a good word. A good bold tune. I like those. I like these sorts of tunes. So thank you very much for sending it through. That's really good. I want to say, where is it, Derek? Yeah, thank you very much. Are you in the chat, Derek? I hope you're in. You perhaps don't chat, but maybe you're watching silently. So thank you very much. Ian, have you decided which Noel you want? Okay, well, we'll see. Perhaps, Ian, if you just confirm, is it the one you want that I played yesterday? Where are we going to after Derek? After Derek is Maffet. Maffet Dowd. What's Maffet asked for? An organ piece, scrolling over. Oh, in Der ist Freude. In brackets, yes, again, comma, big pedal reeds. Is it that one? We can do that, can't we? Do you mind, guys? I'm just going to let the cat out because she's getting a bit on my nerves. I think I'm getting on her nerves as well. I'm going to open this door, let her out. She's scratching everything in sight and pulling over the flowers. Go on, Nala. There's a reason why we call Nala has two names. She sort of has a double-barreled name. The funny thing is I can just walk around the room off camera with the microphone attached to my chest still. She has a double-barreled name as our Nala, and the first of the double-barreled bit is Naughty. Naughty Nala. And it's not just a name that we just thought would be fun. She well and truly earned it. When she was a kitten, she really, really was. Feeding time with our little Nala was just horrendous. She used to jump up on the, when the food was out, she would be straight up on the counter and eating it before it had been finished, being poured into the bowl. And no matter how many times, the word no was said, or down was said, no matter what instruction was given, she'd always do the opposite. So she's Naughty Nala. Anyway, here we go. In Der ist Freude, in You is Joy, BWV 615. It's a course it comes from the Orgelbuchlein by J.S. Bach. I played this yesterday, so this is the second time in 2 days that you've heard me play this on the same organ as well. Let's have all reeds, apart from the 16, because I think the 16 reeds, 16-foot reeds will make it a bit muddy. So we'll lay off the 16-foot foundation and reed stops. We'll have everything up to mixture on the choir. We'll have the 8 and 4 foot reeds on the grand orgue, or the great, and everything coupled together. Not an entirely authentic registration, but this organ does a lot of things extremely well. But Bach doesn't really do an authentic plenum. So this is In Der ist Freude for Maffet. Which camera would you like, Maffet? I'll put you on shoulder cam. Such a wonderful piece, that, isn't it? I think you're talking about bells. Are you talking about bells because of the performance by Olivier Latry on his Back to Bach Notre Dame album? I think he used bells on that, didn't he? I think he did. Maybe I'm completely dreaming or making that up. I don't think I am. But no, that's a wonderful piece. You know, the thing is with that piece, it's just, as with all of these pieces, I think, you know, some of the big preludes and fugues, there's limited scope to how you play them. There's a, you know, back in the Baroque period, composers like Handel used to write tempo ordinary, which basically meant the, you know, ordinary tempo. You know what that is, just the ordinary tempo. And I think the Bach preludes and fugues, he would have assumed the organist would play them at the ordinary tempo. So there's a little bit of wiggle room with, you know, with the metronome mark to some extent, and some of the preludes and fugues are fairly obvious what the registration should be. A lot of them are in big plenums and very bright Silbermann sounds. The chorales, these Orgelbuchlein chorales and the Leipzig chorales and Schubler and all of those wonderful pieces, there's a lot more room for interpretation, a lot more room for colour, registration, articulation, and of course for tempo. Now this one, I've heard people play this piece at this sort of tempo, and I must admit it's not really for me, but it is quite exciting. Have a listen to this. And to me, it just sounds a little bit rushed like that. And I just think, why are you playing it at that speed? But it actually, you know, in fairness, the time signature is 2/3, which means there are, the time signature is 3/2, which means there are 3 minim beats in a bar. By the way, you Americans, a minim is one of those notes, a white note with a stem, okay? Let's just call them crotchets, quavers, and minims for today. So 3 minim beats in a bar. So actually that tempo, if you think about it, it's not that fast. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Actually, it's not that fast when you think about the tempo, but when you get all of the quavers, the black notes with a flag, it actually becomes a bit rushed, I think. Anyway, so that's up to you to decide. Actually, what do you think about the tempo for that piece? How do you like it performed? I heard a recording of Louis Vienne, no less, playing that on the Notre Dame organ. On basically, you know, on that organ, that wonderful Cavaille Carl, back when Louis Vienne had it, it was a bit of a more of a thoroughbred Cavaille Carl. It's been changed a bit. And he was playing it on a typical French Cavaille Carl, reedy sound, quite slow with sort of, you know, everything on. Bom, 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 bom. It was very, very majestic. And you can just imagine in that huge cathedral, those of you who've been to Notre Dame, the huge acoustic and the organ miles up, you know, in the roof. You can just imagine it sounding amazing in that space. And that's probably why he played it quite slowly, because of the acoustic and the space. You play anything too quick in there, it just becomes a wash of sound, and you can't, you just hear a lot of G major and you think, what on earth is he playing? Just a lot of G major arpeggios. But a wonderful piece, very Christmassy, very Christmassy. Anyway, that's Maffitz. You've had a bargain there, haven't you? You've had lots of in dir ist Freude. Should we go on to who's requested this? Oh, Mark Cardanis. Are you in? Mark. You've been around a lot recently. I think you are in. Yes, I think you are. Jerry, the Tinsel Fund. Yes. Well, you can tell this is bargain basement tinsel. I can now go and buy some $50 worth of tinsel. Imagine that. Right. It would certainly give a whole new look and feel to the BIS music room. Right, Mark, giving you no ideas. Mark, we're going to have God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. It's in here. Right, let me go down to G, find a number for it. It's number 83. 83, by the way, is a very good number. Very good year, 83. You could say it was a vintage year. Verse 5 has a wonderful descant with the very first note in the pedal isn't low E, it just sustains an E. I think it's time for the contrabombard to make a bit of an appearance at that point. Perhaps we'll give the contrabombard the $50 worth of tinsel at that moment so she can have a good dance. So, God rest you, merry gentlemen in here. God rest you, merry gentle. Get the camera in the right place. God rest you, merry gentlemen. I'm completely waffling. I've gone mad. I've gone absolutely mad. Now to the Lord sing praises, all you within this place, and with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace. I think that's really appropriate for what we've built up here, the BIS community. And with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace. You know, we are a worldwide community, and I think we really have embraced each other. And, you know, we are all brothers and sisters. And I love the way that we actually now all look out for each other. That's so special. We all care for each other. We all ask how we're all doing. It's such a wonderful, wonderful thing to be part of. When we entered into December, Beauty in Sound was on about 74 point something thousand. I was reading a biography that I had written I'd recorded a CD down at Arundel, which I'll be talking about early next year. And in my biography, which I wrote, or I gave to them probably in October, November, it said we had 73,000. We are just, as I speak, either on 77.8 or 77.9 thousand. So in the past few weeks alone, we have gained almost 4,000 subscribers. So 4,000 more people have entered and have joined the BIS community. So, you know, about embracing everybody, it's such a wonderful thing to embrace 4,000 more people into the community. So you are all very, very welcome indeed. You are on an organ channel, basically, where you will get organ content more regularly than, I think it's fair to say, any other channel on the internet. I don't know any other organ channel who's done a live broadcast on Christmas Eve, a recorded organ album Christmas Day, and now Boxing Day we're here live again. Where else can you get that? And the reason I do it is because of the community. It's such a wonderful place to be. I think Caroline agrees as well. I think you all agree as well. It's such a wonderful and friendly place to be. So let me just make sure everything's okay over there. It looks like everything is in working order. We've had, what was that? That was God rest you merry, gentlemen, for Mark. And we're now going to go into thank you, Paul. You've sent, this has been requested a number of times. It's still, let me just see, you said you've sent it on email, but I can't see it on the email. Not sure what accent that was, and I don't even know why it came out, to be honest. So I'm going to go back to Carol's Requires, and you've put number 76 in here. Let's see if it's number 76. I've got a feeling this might be a funky arrangement, which might not be organ friendly. Let's have a quick look. Still. That's an arrangement by Philip Ledger, the late Philip Ledger, who was Director of Music at King's College, Cambridge, after David Wilcox and before Stephen Cleobury, Sir Stephen Cleobury, rightly so. So here we go. This is a request from Paul. I don't know Paul's surname, but this is a very sort of simple, straightforward arrangement by Philip Ledger of the famous German carol, Still, or Scharf, mein liebes Kindlein Scharf. There's no choir, unfortunately, so you'll just have to, there's the organ interlude, and then we go into a choir bit. I'll make the organ interludes sound fairly organ-like, and then perhaps we'll find a choir, a rich choir sound for the choir bits. So let's get the 8 foots going, and let's have a twinkly registration for the organy bits. There we go. So still for Paul. One of the wonderful things about having such a large organ like this in Doodle Lounge is the array of colours that we have. One of the problems of having such a large organ like the one we have in Doodle Lounge is it's quite difficult in the spur of the moment when you don't know the organ particularly well, when you're still getting used to it. Sometimes quite difficult to find where the stops are. For the life of me, for about 2 seconds, which is why we lost about 2 beats, I couldn't find an 8-foot flute. We had a 4-foot flute, and I couldn't, for the life of me, find the 8-foot flute. All I had to do was cast my eye down 1 stop to either a gedacht or to a flute harmonique. Oh, it's gorgeous. But anyway, so they are there. 8-foot and 4-foot. Or with the flute harmonique and the octave. This is absolutely, without doubt, my favourite organ. It just does everything, and it just sounds so real. That's what I really want in Hauptwerk organs. I really want to be able to give you an authentic, exciting, and varied organ. And I think this one does everything. And I hope you're enjoying this organ as much as I am enjoying playing it. Let's go down the list. We've had still. Katie, is this the same Katie we've had before? Katie Dixon. Well, we'll have it. Yes, we will indeed. It's a very popular one. Where's my NEH? I think I could probably just about do this from memory, to be honest. Now, this organ does loud very well. It's got those very, very exciting reeds, which I noticed somebody in the chat just earlier on said the reeds sound amazing. They do sound amazing. But what this organ does also very well is very quiet, which we will hear now. We will hear Silent Night, Holy Night, Heaven is near, Earth is bright. Do you want a treat, actually? I don't know whether this is going to work or not. This might be just be asking for trouble, if I'm honest. Do you want a treat? Do you like treats, don't you? Well, that wasn't a treat, was it? I'm not sure I can do it without... So maybe I can. If I go to this, I'll give you a treat. Just hold fire, guys. I think this might be worth your waiting. And some of you like to just to not mess around and get on with it. Some of you are a little bit more willing to wait. So Katie has asked for Silent Night, and we have a rather nice recording of Silent Night, which Caroline recorded the other day. Would you like to hear Caroline's version of this, with me accompanying it, and with Hugo in the sling? Let me know. If you'd like to hear my version, I can either play this live now, or you can either listen to Caroline and me performing it together with little baby Hugo. Let me know. Do you want me? Which one do you want to hear? Whilst you're doing that, I'm actually going to. I saw a hymn. Where is it in here? I'm going to have Christians awake, salute the happy morn. There it is. And the reason we're going to have that is because I've discovered a rather nice, rather exciting fanfare which leads into this quite nicely. Wonderful, wonderful hymn. It's perfect for Christmas Day morning. Christians awake, salute the happy morn, whereon the Saviour of the world was born. Rise to adore the mystery of love, which hosts of angels chanted from above. But before that, we will have a fanfare. Whilst I'm playing this, let me know whether you want me to play Caroline's version or my version. I shan't take it personally if you choose Caroline's version. Now, perhaps you just heard that through not only the organ, but you also may have heard it through the live microphone. Hopefully there wasn't a lag, but you would have heard how exciting it sounds in here, and all of the sorts of the clicking going on. So, oh look, you're looking for Caroline's version. Hugo, Maffet wants Hugo's version. You wouldn't want to hear Hugo's version. Anyway, let's go. So this is going to be, this is just a recording that Caroline and I made for the Festival of Lessons, Carols and Organ Music broadcast that we did last Sunday. So those of you who were there for that service in quotation marks, would have heard this already. But those of you who haven't, I think you're in for a real treat because Caroline sings it extremely well. Here we go. Let me find my mouse. Here we go. Hope you enjoy. Silent night. Well, the problem I've got there is when we stream, this is a bit of a technical insight to you. When we streamed the Carol service last week, we streamed in 4K. Now we're streaming in 1080. So basically 4K it's called 4K because it's basically 4 times the resolution of 1080p. So what I've got here is the video set up for Silent Night is in 4K, whereas we're in 1080. This is why it's massive on the screen. So we can just reduce it to 1080 and all will be well this time. How professional. Here we go. Silent Night sung by Hugo. Silent night, holy night, heaven is near, earth is bright, angel songs are heard above, as the child of peace and love sleeps in Mary's arms, sleeps in Mary's arms. Silent night, holy night, skies are clear, stars are bright. Now the shepherds wend their way, home each to this child to pay. He is Christ the Lord. He is Christ the Lord. Silent night, holy night, Christ is here, all is light, shadows of the past are gone, with the advent of the Son, born to save us all, born to save us all. I think you had the right choice there. Caroline singing of that is just gorgeous, isn't it? She sings that really nicely, and perfect because Hugo stayed asleep during that particular one. He obviously likes that one. Now the other day, Chris Luckenbill sent this hymn through on email. The Birthday of a King is what it's called. In the little village of Bethlehem, there lay a child one day, and the sky was bright with a holy light over the place where Jesus lay. Alleluia, oh how the angels sang. Alleluia, how it rang. And the sky was bright with a holy light. 'Twas the birthday of a king. I don't know whether Chris is actually in right now, but he normally is, and he's a patron, and he will probably listen back. So this is for Chris. I was also tickled, as some of you noticed, the barbecue outside. And needless to say, we haven't used that in a while. Can't wait until we can use it though. So this is the birthday of a king. Just thinking what registration we should use. Let's have the cornet on the grate. Let's accompany that with the 8-foot flutes on the choir, on both the swell and the swell and the choir flutes. Cornet on the grate. So the birthday of a king. We need to get into a voluntary actually in a minute, so please make some suggestions for an organ voluntary. So that was for Chris Luckenbill, who sent that through the other day. Ian Garden is asking for Good King Wenceslas. Well, that's a really good and appropriate tune because, of course, today is the feast of St. Stephen. Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel. When a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. This is a rather silly arrangement by not Noel Rossell at all, David Wilcox. But at the same time, it's rather fun. So we'll have this. See how we get on with this little ditty. Oh, someone's asking for an organ sonata, a trio sonata. Seth, perhaps not tonight. Maybe when I've had a chance to practice it a little bit. That is on the channel and it is in the repertoire, as you probably know. But I'm not going to play those trio sonatas without practicing them ever, I don't think, unless I've had a bottle of wine. And it would not be live on the internet. So Ian has requested Good King Wenceslas. It's rather fun, isn't it, that one? Going between the men and the girls, or the women and the men, should I say. Mark my footsteps, good my page, tread thou in them boldly. Thou shalt find the winter's rage, freeze thy bloodless coldly. So Norm, it says, Norm has just written it's minus 26 degrees there, so perfect. Freeze thy bloodless coldly. I'm not saying you're bloodless, Norm. I hope you're keeping warm, actually. Right, I think, guys, we've got time. Just just time for, I think, one more hymn. Let's see. Someone's asked for Vidor. Someone's asked for some Bach. Prelude in C minor 847. 847. I don't know that one. So Philippa has requested composer Up to You, title Up to You. Well, that's marvellous. Thank you. Well, it is Christmas after all. So what should we have for the final hymn tonight? What would be a really good hymn for Boxing Day? Let's see what someone comes up with in the chat. So next request in the chat wins the next request, I suppose. Yes, this is the surround version of Doodle Launch. So Ian, you just said on the back of this, you'll get it. I will say that it sounds good over the internet, but the problem with Handwerk is, and I might do a video on this next year, the problem with Handwerk, I find, is that the organs, quite frankly, don't sound very good over the internet. And in the room, when you, the organist, is playing in cans, as some online organists do, you hear it in the room, like in here. It sounds incredible. It sounds really, really good. But listen to it back over the internet, and something's taken away. It suddenly sounds very linear and a little bit like you're listening to it in a square box, and it doesn't really come to life. It's almost like when I listen to music and when I record instruments, I visualize a sound that I'm trying to capture. And when I listen to a recording, when I listen to some organs on YouTube of Handwerk instruments, it sounds to me like I'm watching it or listening to it through a window somehow, and it's just very linear. So it's there, and I'm almost looking at that sound. I could step into it, and it just sounds very. I can barely fit my head through that window. But when it's in here, and when you've got headphones on, it's like looking across a big city landscape. It's like, wow, this is amazing. This organ is translating. I've listened back to a few streams. This organ, I think, translates very well over the internet, and I'm very happy with the way it's sounding. And Ian, the reason I'm just waffling on a fraction is because if you think it sounds good tonight, it sounds 10 times better in real life. That's why I'm using it a lot, more so than Rotterdam, actually. I know Rotterdam has a clearer, more clarity, I suppose, which for some repertoire is really good. But as you know, the colours on Rotterdam are somewhat limited. There's no oboe on the swell. The swell reeds are very big and come on with a jolt almost. I love Rotterdam. This organ is just a bit smoother, and I really like the way these swell reeds bite. The mixtures, I do miss. There's one particular mixture on the Hoofdwerk on Rotterdam which I really like. It's really bright, and I think the mixtures on the Rotterdam are fabulous, and as are the principal, the diapasons. But this has just more of a smooth edge, and you can really get a very smooth and a consistent crescendo, and then diminuendo as well. So when it comes out next year, early next year, February, March time, I think, go for it. It's really, really. I'll do a feature video on it because I'm very, very pleased and very taken with this organ. Let's have a look. What's the request? What is it going to be? We had Ding Dong on Friday and Dantino. Ebibs has asked for Oh Holy Night. We could have that. Charlie, you're new. Hello. You're really, really welcome. We're actually just about to finish, so you have to go back and watch. We're a very friendly bunch on the whole. You are very welcome, all jokes aside. Barbara, what have you said? There is more body to the organ sound when it's live. There certainly is more body, absolutely, particularly in here with the subwoofer subbing away. It's marvellous. Okay, well, and another one there for Oh Holy Night. Well, I mean, you might just have to talk amongst yourselves just for a very, very short moment while I go and get my copy of it. Bear with me a second, guys. And I will go and get Oh Holy Night. Now I could actually open this up to vote again because Caroline and I recorded this at the same time we recorded Silent Night. So would you rather hear me play it live, or would you rather hear Caroline and Hugo singing it? Actually, I think for this particular recording, Hugo is awake. So let me know whether you'd rather hear me or Caroline sing it. I'll wait for you to answer that because there's no lag tonight. I think there's about 4 seconds lag between what I say and what you hear. Norm, you want both? Oh wow. Well, I could give you both, but it would be the same. I'm using the same arrangement. I think Caroline would. All right, fine. No, I'll play it live. I'll play it live. Caroline saying live. No, come on, I'll do it live because this will be the last one tonight. So we can just have a bit of fun with it, okay? If you want to hear Caroline sing it, and she sings it really well, it's in last Sunday's Festival of Lessons and Carols broadcast we did. It's really rather nice, actually. But for now, I will see what I can do with this. So, "Oh Holy Night" by Adolphe Adam, arranged here for choir and organ accompaniment by John West. I'm actually rather glad that we played it live, because it was actually a bit more spontaneous and a bit more live, a bit more fun, dare I say it. No disrespect to Caroline, of course. Now, let's have a bit of a voluntary, shall we? It'd be rude not to have a voluntary. Let's have something which is it's based on a very small theme from the Messiah. I think most of you will know this. Do you recognise it? I think today's virtual church is, let me just have a look at the calendar, make sure that I'm not forgetting something. So, yes. There will be something on New Year's Eve, a sort of a Christmas organ fireworks program. But today is the last virtual church, so I think we ought to go out with a bit of a bang. So how about we have this march on a theme by Handel, it's called, by Guillemot. It's based on Lift Up Your Heads, O ye gates, from Handel's Messiah. And it ends rather, well, there's no way of saying it really, apart from it ends rather loudly. Which, of course, this organ does extremely well. So, what does he ask for at the beginning? He asks for the swell, the fawns, so 8 and 4, we can do that. Let's have the 8 and 4 flutes on the swell, on the resi. 8-foot reeds will be naughty, and have the oboe and the bassoon et hautbois, and the trompette or the conopion. On the great, he just asks for some 8 and 4, but I'm going to pull out more than that. And on the positive, 8 and 4 again. Well, again, we'll just have a bit more than that. We'll take some liberties. In the pedal, he asks for an unaccompanied pedal department, and with 32 foot. So I'm going to have quite a heavy pedal section going on. We've got a 32-foot flue rumbling away. The grate is all set up for the fugue in the middle. I thought we'll have the 2 foot as well for good measure. Choir to grate. There we go. So this is the March on a Theme by Handel by Guillemot. March on a Theme of Handel by Guillemot. And we'll start on the top camera, and then we'll zoom around to the shoulder, I think. I was trying to be clever there. I was trying to change the camera angle whilst the subject came in. So what I'll do is I'll start the fugue again so we can get it a little bit more slick. And we'll go back to the shoulder camera. And I'll try not to change the camera angle in the middle of a fugue. if we were recording that, I'd say to the engineer, "Can I give that another go, please?" Lesson learned, you don't try to change the angle of the camera yourself during the exposition of a fugue. It's a good job you guys are a very amenable bunch and a tolerable bunch as well. Hey, hey ho, hey and a hey nonny no. These things are live, and that's one of the wonderful things about these broadcasts is I mean, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I play like a dog, to be honest with you. Sometimes some dogs play pretty well, but this dog here sometimes doesn't play pretty well. But for you, it's I think that's one of the wonderful things. It's actually a live experience when not everything is always polished. It's Christmas, so anything goes, anything does happen, and you're watching an organist online playing with tinsel around his neck, for goodness sake. Anyway, I think we ought to draw it a close there. So I think that draws a close to the Christmas content here on BIS. It's been an old busy month with this new organ being made a fraction busier actually by it being late and me having to juggle everything around and get things out to you in record time. But we got there. We got through Christmas. So thank you for all of your company over Christmas. Thank you for all of your support over Christmas. And thank you for, as that hymn said earlier on, we embrace each other, brothers in arms, as it were. Brothers being in this particular context gender neutral, and we embrace everyone. And we are such a fortunate community to have, such a wonderful following, a wonderful body of people, and a wonderful supportive crowd. There's a wonderful place to be, especially at Christmas. So we're all in a very good frame of mind. So I really hope that you've enjoyed Beauty and Sound this year. If you are able to become a patron, it does really help. Your support enables me to, acquire an organ like this, not just for me, of course, but for you to enjoy, and for world-class organists like Martin Baker to come and play it just for you. So if you want to see more of this sort of thing and more organists, please do support the channel. I'll draw it to a close there. I think this organist is about spent for Christmas now. I think I might go and put my feet up for a little bit. Happy Christmas, everyone, and I will see you all on New Year's Eve, which is it? What day is that? I don't know. It's the 31st. I'll put something online, whether it's be live or pre-recorded. I don't know. I'll try to do a live, but let's see what time allows. But I'll see you then. Thank you all for your company, and take care, everybody, and stay safe. Until next time, cheerio. Goodbye.